Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified. So, we recently discussed some books that we wanted to see as movies and TV shows, but I was thinking, our podcast is all about thrillers and chillers and killers and all that good stuff. And
Hmm.
even though we met because of our love of reading,
Yeah.
I was like, what could we do that was like more movies and TV shows
Hmm.
and not necessarily always books? So I had the idea of any movies or TV shows, if you decide, that you would love to see as a book.
Yeah.
So has there ever been like a
Loves this.
book or ever been a book? Have you ever read a book? has,
I have a few.
has there ever been a movie that you watched and you were like, damn, that would be a really good book?
Yeah. I love this one because it felt so much different than thinking about turning a book into a movie. For some reason, like going the other direction, like it just felt like more fun in my brain is literally the only way I can describe it. But
Yeah.
one of the first ones that I thought, because I think I might have even said after we left the theater, like that it might have been good as a book, was Don't Worry, Darling. Because I think actually being, is it Alice? Yeah. Actually being in Alice's head as she's trying to figure everything out that's happening
Mhm.
would be so cool. And you could, I know that it's like a movie that some people really didn't like and thought was bad. I don't think you could really say that it was actually a bad movie, but there is more that could have been like explained and explored if you were
Mhm.
like reading it from a book perspective. And I would love to see that.
Ooh, that would be really good. I would definitely read that. That would be a
Yeah.
very good psychological thriller.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I could see like Greer Hendricks and Sarah Paquin doing that.
Yes, that would be perfect. I wish
Robin Harding, she could do that.
yeah. Yeah,
She could
I
do a Don't
agree.
Worry, Darling.
I agree. Who else does ones
Yeah.
like that? I don't know, but I agree with those.
Um, well, my first one is like one of my favorite movies in the entire world, and it's one of my comfort watches. And I don't want to hear any little trolls come for me that this isn't a comfort watch because I just love the movie. Okay.
Mhm.
I would love to see Promising Young Woman as a book.
Yes, that is mhm. That's great.
The trailer of the movie actually gives away enough where you kind of get a general idea of what it's about, but you don't have the
Mhm.
full effect until you watch the movie. And
You
I just feel
don't.
like there would be so many really cool little cliffhangers in the chapters that would make it,
Yes.
you know, the flashback and like I feel like you could like explore more into like
Mhm.
some of the backstory of Carrie Mulligan's character.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think that it
Yeah.
has a lot of reveals in it.
Mhm. It
It
does.
has like some comedy. It's got like a great like I just want to get behind the mind of that character more because I love
Mhm.
it. The
Vigilantes are like so
script
fun to be in their
screen
heads.
yeah, screenplay's perfect, but I mean Carrie Mulligan is
Mhm.
just that's just like some of the best acting I've ever seen in my entire life. I
Really
love her.
good.
I love her. So Carrie
I
Mulligan,
listened to,
you are my
if
soulmate.
anyone loves that movie and loves her, her interview on Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard and Monica Padman was really cool about that movie. So there's another podcast to listen to if you need more.
Yeah. And if you also like her in that movie, and you're just obsessed with her acting, she's also in a movie called Shame with Michael
Hmm.
Fassbender,
Yeah.
and he is a sex addict. and she is his sister, but she's kind of like the free-spirited sister, and like she shows up in New York City and is like, "Hey, can I crash on your couch for a little bit?" And like it
Mhm.
kind of interrupts his lifestyle
Okay.
of being a sex addict.
Right.
But her role is like significant, but it's small enough that like her acting in it is just beyond incredible. You hear some of it in the trailer, but there's one part where she leaves him like a voicemail and she's like upset about an argument that they had.
Mhm.
um and every time that scene comes on in the movie, I just like tears come out of my face because her acting is
Mm.
just so good. I love her.
It's impeccable through the whole movie.
Even in Promising Young Woman, like she has some like really dry humor, and there's just so much that like you
Yes.
need to be a real like powerhouse in order to take on that role, and I love her.
Especially even that final scene. I won't say anything more, but she killed it.
Yep, crushed it. Love her.
Yeah, me too. Um, Another one that I had, I kind of feel like we might both have this one, but I think Watcher would be really good as a book too.
Okay, so I said five, and I have
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have seven. And the reason I have seven is
Mm-hmm.
because I had Watcher, but I was like, I need an alternate because I think that you're going to say that. And I totally agree
Yeah.
with you. Watcher,
Yeah.
100% would
Yeah.
be.
I feel like anytime like there's the storyline of am ever like other people don't believe the main character, so it's like, oh, people don't believe me, can I trust myself? That kind of plot's always so good in a book because you like really, I mean, they did a great job just visually
Yeah,
displaying her fear. They did such a great job, but it would be really good in a book too.
yeah, incredible. You know what? It almost, um, what's the Peter Swanson book that we said that we wanted
The
to
kind
reread?
worth killing.
The other one with the apartment
Oh yeah.
before she found him. No,
I think
before he
no,
found her.
before she knew him was the other one with the she realizes there's a serial killer next door. It's is it Her Every Fear?
Her Every Fear. Yes.
Yeah, that's what
That's
that one
almost the
was.
vibe I get. Like, that would be
Yes.
really
Oh, you're
good.
right.
Yeah, I
You're
would love
so
to
right.
see
Like
that.
creepy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And like,
So we need
there's,
Peter to write that one.
hmm he would do a good job with that.
He would.
Um, I'm taking it way back.
Nice. I wanted to. I didn't think of any from too far back.
So I've got 70s, 80s, and two 90s. So I took it.
Nice.
Um, a lot of people do not know this because they've only seen the remakes, but the 1974 version of Black Christmas is one of the most incredible movies in the entire world. It was the first slasher. Like, this is the movie that actually inspired Halloween.
Okay. Okay.
The guy that did A Christmas Story also
Mm-hmm.
did this movie called Black
Whoa.
Christmas. Yes.
That's crazy.
Margot Kidder's in it, like Lois Lane from Superman. And it
Mm-hmm.
is about a group of sorority girls who are being stalked and murdered by somebody who is hiding in their house.
Oh my gosh.
So it takes on that whole urban legend that people always talk about, like the calls coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
The timing, the creepiness, the eeriness of, the whole movie, it is so good. It's one of my favorite movies in the entire world. It has your sorority setting. The characters
Mm-hmm.
are really good. It doesn't have any of that like cheesy Friday the 13th where like people are getting killed and you just like don't give a shit about them kind of thing.
Right.
Um, I love it. I love this movie. I think it's like one of the best horror movies in the entire world. It's incredible. But when you read a book and it's like, here's Rebecca, and she's just like walking down the street and she hears a tin can roll, but doesn't see
Oof.
anything.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
she like goes back into her apartment. She's like, that was creepy, but now I feel safe. And then you
Yep.
get the alternate chapter where it's like the man who's stalking her is like, I accidentally kicked a tuna can and almost got caught.
Yes. Yes.
that whole thing of having the stalker or the killer's like POV in a book
Hmm.
version of Black Christmas would be incredible
That would be so cool.
because like the movie literally, oh, I mean, it's not a spoiler and it's also like a really old movie, but
Yeah.
like the movie starts with this stalker going into the house and like finding his way in and like his like hiding places and stuff. But it's
Oh
just
my
such a good
goodness.
movie. Such a good
That
movie.
sounds amazing.
So,
I need to watch it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
do
you would
love
love it.
that. And it's sometimes when it's like really subtle in the chapters, even if it's not like a stalker, but I love when there's like a reveal in another character's point of view
Mm-hmm.
where you're like, oh, wait. And then like sometimes it's even from like multiple chapters before in someone else's chapter.
Yeah.
I love when authors play with like who's giving you the information and
Mm-hmm.
when. So cool.
I also like just kind of love like I mean my example was like a little corny, but I like love when like, you know, it's something where something happens and like a character's like, "Oh my God, what was that?" and they're kind of creeped out, but they like convince themselves that it's not anything dangerous and then you get the perspective of that killer or stalker or whatever and you realize that it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like how many times
Yeah.
have you like I mean I live out in the middle of nowhere, but like there's some times where like the motion light above my garage will just like go off
Mm-hmm.
for no reason. And like, you know, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, is it a cat or is it like a murderer?
Right.
Or
Those
is
are
it
the only
Jake
options.
or Jacob Elordi? So, you know, like to me, I'm like, okay, like that it was the wind or something that happened that made that come off. But like if this were a thriller book, I could also have somebody being like, the fucking motion light went on and I had to hide behind a
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
So I just
The
love that like eeriness.
Yes, the night before I interviewed Jamie Lee Hendricks, the second time, um, Tyler was out of town and our alarm started going off and like we don't even arm it necessarily because
No.
like it just gets tripped really easily. And it
Mm-hmm.
just all of a sudden was going off at 1 a.m. And I was like, it like if I were in a horror film and my husband was out of town and I was like headed towards the stairs, everyone would be like, don't fucking go down there.
Mm-hmm.
So then like I'm like half asleep, also thinking of like, I mean, is this technically smart to do? But like I just went down there and turned it off. But I hate that stuff where you're like, I know this is probably nothing, but what if it is something?
So when you read the Lars Kepler books,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you read
Specifically Stalker, I'm guessing.
specifically Stalker. Well, that's the thing that I liked about Stalker is it's not just like they literally play on all of those things.
Yeah,
You know what I
nice.
mean? Like so
Mm-hmm.
for me, I don't know if this happens to you. Our house, like my house was like built in like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So when it gets really cold at night, your house will crack.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, watching horror movies, reading thriller books, all
Yeah.
of that stuff, like you hear a creak or a crack or something, and you're like, was that a footstep? And you're like, no, it's just the house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or if you look outside of a dark window and you're like, how weird would it be if like all of a sudden I saw someone's face like staring back at me?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Those things that you like, those scary intrusive thoughts that you have sometimes
Yes.
being home alone,
Mm-hmm.
Lars Kepler plays on those a
Oh,
lot with the book. So like do
yeah.
not read it when Tyler's gone.
I'll read it in like December.
Yeah, because I want to read it with you. But yeah,
Yeah,
so that's my
I love it.
Christmas.
Um, so another one that I thought of was is Ex Machina, and it's sci-fi. I mean, it's a stretch to call it sci-fi, but there is an AI woman involved, like an AI robot, and a programmer, basically, this like a really good programmer wins the like lottery and he gets to go visit, think like billionaire tech type guy living in the remote woods in a beautiful house. He gets to go visit that guy and like be a part of an experiment or like whatever. I'm over explaining it, but
No, I'm not trying to look like I'm
oh
not
no,
paying
not you.
attention.
I feel like I'm just doing it.
My I thought my laptop was plugged in and it wasn't. And like I just got the
Oh,
notification
really?
that my battery was gonna die. So I was like trying to
You're like,
like sneaky get my charger so that we're good.
and I just feel like I keep like taking forever to pick my words.
No,
Um, so
you're
he gets
perfect.
there, and basically the assignment is for like what the actual test of consciousness is, and for him to like talk to the robot and be able to tell him at the end of it, like, did we create like spontaneous AI that has an awareness of its awareness? So that's all you need to know in general, because it's not going to explain
I'm
even
not
more
telling
of
you anymore.
it. But as a book, I think it would be so cool to have the point of view of the main character who's talking to the robot and a
Mhm.
point of view from the AI.
Ooh,
It would
yeah.
be so cool. So I
Isn't
would
there,
love that.
oh my God, there's a book I either asked you about or was going to ask you about,
Mm.
The Echo Wife.
I know I've heard of it. I don't think I read it.
I think it has a sci-fi element to it where it's like the robot is like you get like
Okay.
a perspective from the robot because it's like the robot is having an affair with like a
Ooh.
woman's husband
Whoa.
or something. But I was gonna see if you wanted to buddy read it because I really am very
Yeah.
curious about it and I want to dive into sci-fi, but it has to be a buddy read with you because I know that you will be patient enough to dumb
Yes.
it down for me if the sci-fi things get confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't read it. It's just on my TBR.
Cool. I'm going to
Yeah.
Canada
Let's
tomorrow,
do
so
that.
I'll look for it.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Nominee for Best Science Fiction 2021.
Look at that. Me giving you a sci-fi rack.
You gave me a sci fi rec from Ex
Shits.
Machina. And then if you love that book enough, maybe you should watch the movie.
Well, speaking of fatal love,
Mm-hmm.
the good old bunny boiler herself, Glenn Close. Fatal Attraction is on my list.
Yes.
Have you ever
That,
watched
oh
Fatal
my
Attraction?
gosh. I have not.
You have not? Okay.
I have
So
not.
good.
I need to. I know what it's about. I know a
Mhm.
lot about it somehow, even though I haven't watched it.
It's iconic. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
that I like about it is I think it would translate well to a book because I don't know if somebody said this or if this is just how I've always like viewed it myself, but
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously about a man who has an affair with, well, I don't even want to call it an affair. It's just like a wild weekend with this woman while his
Mm-hmm.
wife is out of town. And they
Okay.
have like a great time. And like the way that he views it is like she knows that this is only for 2 days, that we're just gonna like
Yeah.
go out to dinner, hook up like little rabbits, and then,
Mm-hmm.
call it a day. And to
Mm-hmm.
her, it like is the beginning of a relationship. So like he cheats
Yeah.
on his wife with this woman, she becomes obsessed. But like when you're watching this movie, I would say for the first good half hour, 45 minutes, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody told you it was a love story, you would believe it.
Oh wow. I didn't
There's
know that
nothing
part.
sinister about it. Do you know what
Oh
I mean?
wow.
Like it
Yeah.
shows him kind of, what his everyday life is like with his daughter and his wife, and
Mm-hmm.
them going out of town and him meeting this woman and them like going out to dinner and having great conversation and hooking up. So it's like a little steamy. But like if I
Mm-hmm.
told you like, oh, this movie is called like Love in Manhattan and
I,
it's a romance, like you would believe me until the shit starts to hit the fan.
wow.
So I would love to have it be a book because I feel like it could
Yeah.
almost be like what we were saying about the affair, where it's like his and her perspective, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna like, be a little dirtbag
Yes.
and cheat on my wife. And like she's like, oh my God, like I just like really want this man to be my husband because I love him so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love having both of those perspectives.
Yeah. And I
And
think
then
you
I
would
think
love this movie.
I know I need to watch so much stuff. I need no one to email us about anything on Thursday and Friday. Just leave us alone.
Oh my
Not
God,
you.
I would love that.
Work.
Oh no, I just like boss you around in your DMs and like tell
I know
Tyler
you're
he's
like, I don't email you.
and I just like tell Tyler he's like cool with his like card stuff because I'm like, oh my God, you're magic.
I
You're so
know,
cool.
right? I know.
I can't even like
Yeah.
carry my water bottle from like my desk to like my recliner to like relax and like he's doing all this cool shit.
I know. I know.
Magic.
Yeah. My nails would get in the way.
My clumsiness would just get in the way.
I am so clumsy. I have a huge bruise on my arm right now because I ran into a door. So another one that I thought would be really good as a book
Mhm.
is Pearl, that came out this year, and it's basically a villain origin story. Have you seen it? I don't think it's out for rent yet.
I saw X,
You saw X, yeah.
but I don't like movies that take place in like the 40s and 50s. So I was
Okay,
like, I probably won't watch Pearl, but I am gonna watch the third one.
I get it.
Okay.
So that's a little bit how we felt when we showed up, though. So we didn't know a ton about the plan of the trilogy, or that like all of that,
Mhm.
how connected it was. And so we knew we hadn't seen X either. We just knew it existed. But we were just like going to see more movies because we got that AMC thing where you can like see 3 movies a week.
Oh, because your
So
movie theater is not an hour and a half away from you.
exactly. I
Lucky.
know. I really wish. When we went to a movie last night, Tyler was like, you might just have to talk to me about this movie since Gare just can't get to a movie theater. I was like, yeah, I
I
know.
know. Actually,
But
there's one in Canada.
oh, really? So you just have to do some border
So
border
I just have
hopping.
to, yeah, I just have to be like, I'm going to the movies. Let me through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So we showed up thinking it was just gonna like, we didn't totally know what we were gonna expect, I guess is what I'm saying. Like we knew it was a
mhm.
villain origin story and that it was a little different than like what we'd watched before. We didn't know how different it was. And for the first like 10 to 15 minutes, we were both looking at each other like, is this gonna be the first movie that we walk away from? Because of what you talked about, like the
Yeah.
time period, like she was just like everything was just played up so hardcore. And we were just like, we've never watched something like this. And like I was even looking at him, I was like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. He was like, yeah, me neither. But whatever. Then the story gets so out of hand that the setting and the extraness or the campiness of everything
Right.
fits the story. So
Okay.
it's definitely like her story of like going from like having dreams to having her dreams crushed to turning into like an angry murderous person. And I feel like those kinds of like Breaking Bad type stories, or like just like Fall from Grace stories, do well as books too, because you get even more insight. Like you feel compassionate for her the whole time, even though she's doing some pretty bad shit at the end. And so I think it'd be good as a book.
Hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll check it out when it's streaming.
Yeah.
Um, because I loved X.
And it is kind of cool that you like now know the origin story of that woman.
Hmm. I loved X, but let's be honest, we all know the reason I went to see X is because I have a huge crush on Kid Cudi.
I was about to ask about a couple scenes with him.
But I
There's
also
so
love
many.
Jenna Ortega.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. I love Kid Cudi. I love everything
That
about
scene when
him.
he's like standing like backlit and you're like, wait, what?
I was
Tyler's
like,
like,
now
wait.
it's worth it.
He was like, hold on, that's huge. I was like, yeah, no, it does look huge.
Ah.
It was such a good one. Such a good movie though, still overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just Kid Cudi, but
Not
that
just
part's
him, but
nice too.
I love Kid Cudi. I think he's so handsome and he just sounds like or just seems like he's like so cool.
I know.
Not just
Definitely
like
see
cool,
that
like,
now.
and like, oh, like all the guys want to be me
Yeah,
cool, like Drake, but
chill.
like just cool, like non-judgmental, like cool.
Like Wiz. I feel that way about
Same.
Wiz
Yeah.
Khalifa.
Uh-huh.
He just has like the chillest vibes. Like I feel like nothing would be stressful around him.
Yeah. I also kind of feel that way about the weekend a little bit.
Yes.
But
You
I
know
don't know
who
if I
else though, in another way, is Post Malone. Like that dude is a whole other kind of chill.
did you see that TikTok of him where the person was like, "You suck, I hate you," and he's like, "Oh,
Oh
that's like
no.
mean." Yeah. So like he was like
Not
greeting
that one.
fans and stuff, and like somebody was not a fan but like obviously just wanted attention, and they were
Mhm.
recording on their phone and they were like, Post Malone, Post Malone, and he like looked at him and he was like, "You suck, I fucking hate you," and he like literally looks like his feelings are so hurt and he's like, "Dude, that's so mean." And I'm just like,
Good
"Oh my
for him though.
God." I'm like, "You poor little
Oh,
thing."
that makes me so sad. I thought you were talking about there's another video of him dancing like a goofball that's
No, I
going
just think that
viral.
he's so down to earth. And like when I saw like, because like
Yes.
most people like who are famous would be like, "Oh fuck you, like I have like
Yeah.
$1 billion and you're just like some little
Yeah.
twerp with like an iPhone 11 or whatever."
Hmm.
But like,
Right.
ugh.
I love,
um,
yeah, I love his vibe.
yeah. So now that we've talked about Kid Cudi and we're all about sexiness,
Yes.
Basic Instinct.
Another one that I have
You've
not
never
seen.
watched Basic Instinct?
Nope.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're gonna
It's
love it.
there are quite a few I need to catch up on. So
You're
this is
gonna love
good.
it. You're
Hmm.
going to love it.
Another one
So
where I know a lot about it, but I didn't see it.
there's a book aspect in the movie
Hmm.
that I think would translate really well to like a book
Hmm.
because Basic Instinct is about a man who is murdered,
Hmm.
and the person who last saw him is his like hot girlfriend slash like hookup buddy,
Hmm.
and she's obviously the main suspect. So like in comes
Yep.
Michael Douglas as a cop and he's like, "Hey, listen, like your boyfriend got killed last night." And she's like, "He's not my boyfriend, we just hook up." And they like literally like she's like the main suspect, but she's so like cool and like a femme
Crosses her
fatale.
legs in a cool way.
Yeah, she's such like a femme fatale that like the detective kind
Yes.
of is like very enamored by her.
Yeah.
And like they're in their investigation, he's like interrogating her and he's like, "Your boyfriend was this popular rock star who got murdered with an ice pick in his bed. Your last book had a man who was a rock star get murdered by an ice pick in his bed." But
Whoa.
she's so calm, cool, and collected that they're like, she had to have done it. But she's just like, you think I'm really that stupid to write a book
Right.
about and then kill somebody the same way that's in my book?
Yeah.
But like as he gets very dangerously close to her in his investigation, it's like his
Hmm.
personal feelings kind of get in the way, and like she's also like very capable possibly of murder.
I definitely need to watch it.
It's so sexy, it's so thrilling. It
Yeah.
would be San Francisco is the setting.
Ooh,
So
love that.
that is my
I'm adding it to my IMDb list, my
add it to
watch
the
list.
top.
I'm putting it to the top.
It's like
Right
I'm telling
to
you, you're
the
gonna be
top.
like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Make sure Tyler watches it too.
I will. Yeah. He
Cause
should be home for a while now, so we can.
yeah, that could be like your happy Thanksgiving.
I know we are gonna try to go see because we saw the menu last night, and
Did you
then
like
I want to
it?
go see. Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so good. Um, it's really, really funny. Like
Cool.
more than anything, it's a dark comedy. Like there, it's kind of thrilling, but more than anything, it's just really good dark comedy about eating the rich, essentially, and makes
Cool.
so much fun of all the archetypes of rich people. It was so good. We were
I'm into
cracked.
that.
Like I was like laughing, like not like out loud, but there were times where I was like, in the theater. Like
That's
watching a dark
awesome.
movie. That was really good, but I want to see Bones and All too.
I don't know that one.
Timothy Chalamet, and
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I don't know the actress that's in it with him, but basically I don't know what kind of cannibals they are. There's something about them.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't
Yeah.
think that I've heard of this because I did not
I
know that.
thought you kind of figured you would have, because it's definitely like horror ish type stuff.
No, I'm a wimp. I don't do Saw. I don't do cannibals. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, well,
I was gonna say you've recommended a couple, but that's okay.
I don't do like Hills Have Eyes, Saw, but like
It's
if
not,
I
it's more
find my
coming of age.
maybe it'll be more like fresh and it won't
It's
be
more like
as
that. It's supposed to be a little more satirical, and like they're both teenagers that are like trying to do it in a like, you know how like Dexter's a good serial killer because he kills bad people? It's that kind
yeah.
of a thing. And like also like wishing they weren't like that, but finding each other. So there's like this kind of teenage romance, coming
Oh,
of age, horror. Like she accidentally bites her friend's finger off when she's a kid and doesn't know why. Yeah, it's
that's
kind of all over
cute.
the place. But I would definitely want to see that one. And I
I
want
want
to
to
see
see it.
Wakanda Forever as well. So we're gonna try to see a bunch of movies, is what I'm saying,
Good.
on Thursday, and then we can come home and just watch your recommendations.
I love that.
Yeah, he doesn't know it, but his Thursday's all planned out now. Or mine is. He can choose to be a part of it or not.
He has to because I go
Yeah.
like, listen, buddy, you're really cool with everything that you do. I mean, he's just
Hmm.
Tyler's Kid Cudi cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know he is.
But like I can be the person that recommends movies that like are cool. Like let that be
Yeah,
my thing, Tyler. All
we're
he
his
has to
little
do is
nerd friends.
watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all fantastic.
They are.
But Basic
He'll enjoy
Instinct
it.
is like, oh my God, so cool.
I know.
It's like like there's like a lot of references to like an ice pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in high school, like, or I think it was like college, maybe. I don't know. I remember buying the DVD and
Mm-hmm.
like the case for the DVD was like this thick, kind of blue tinted
Whoa.
plastic that looked like an ice block. And the DVD was in there. And when you opened it, there was a little
Oh
ice
my
pick and it was a
gosh.
pen.
That is so smart.
It was so cool. And I was like, oh my God, look at
That
this
is
little ice pick.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's like how people do that for books now sometimes, like when you get book boxes or whatever.
I want somebody to write Basic Instinct.
I know. Who do you think would be good at that one?
E.G. Scott.
Yeah, I bet
Like
you're right. Yep.
hands down. Hands
Mm-hmm.
down. I love how they write the
Yes.
detectives in their books.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, I love how they write, like, I just think that I love how they write diabolical women.
I do too.
I love how they write any characters, but I just feel like they have like a knack for diabolical women.
Mm-hmm.
Because of just everything I've read by them.
Yeah,
I think that they're fucking perfect at like characters and like they could do Basic Instinct and like
you're right.
one eye closed.
Yes. They could each have one eye closed, and then they'd have two collectively.
Yeah, like two little pirates
Yeah.
right in Basic.
Just
But yeah,
typing
I think
away.
that's the only person I like, or the well, not person, but that's the only duo I think could do Basic
Yeah,
Instinct.
I think you're right.
Jamie Lynn Hendricks could do it, I think.
There was someone else who like crossed through my mind right when you said them, and now I can't remember who it is. Well, I don't know if you've ever read Catherine McKenzie stuff, but she wrote a book within a book type thing. That's what it made me
Hmm.
think of. So she's written that before, and
I
then
like her.
she wrote the book that was the book in the book, if that makes sense. So
I did not
one
know
of
that.
her one of her books references a book by Julie Apple. And then after she wrote that book, she wrote the book as Julie Apple and
Oh
like
my God, I
wrote it.
didn't know that. That's
It was
cool.
so cool. So she would know how to do that part.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just yeah, E.G. Scott. I think Ashley Winstead would actually probably do a really good job.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I thought
she'd
about
want.
that for Promising Young Woman for
Oh hell
Ashley.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I like that a
Because I
lot
think she even
actually.
actually had that on her like mood board for The Last Housewife. And I totally see that connection.
I wonder if I've ever talked to Ashley Winstead about Promising Young Woman. It's
I
one of my
did a
comfort
little
movies.
bit just because she had just posted about it when I talked to her the first time.
I watch that movie very often. Promising Young
Yeah,
Woman, The
it's
War of the
so good.
Roses, and then my last pick.
Ooh,
But you
which
have to go
is,
first. You
oh
have to
no,
go
I need
first.
to go. You're right. So my last one is Knives Out. I feel like would
Ooh,
be,
such a good idea.
yeah, another ensemble cast. You have
Oh,
lots of points of view. You can hide a lot of
oh,
clues
damn.
because you're shifting perspectives.
You are so good at this. I love how your lists of
Hmm.
things that we always discuss are very like specific. Like none of them are very similar. I feel like I'm the
Yeah,
opposite. Like a lot of
you're
mine
right.
are like similar, but like all of
Mhm.
yours are very like
You're
niche,
right. I did kind of
which
have
is
some
God, you're so cool.
so cool.
You are so fucking cool. Knives
You're
Out.
like, how do
Fuck
you
yeah.
find all these other genres?
I know. I'm like this serial killer book, this book about a toxic relationship that could result in murder, this toxic relationship, this stalker. You know who I'd like to see do Knives Out?
Who?
Janelle
I
Brown.
kind of who?
Janelle Brown.
Oh yeah, she would be good at that. She'd
Who
be
are you
really good at
thinking?
that. I was thinking Jamie Lynn Hendricks again because of her. It could be
She's so
anyone.
fucking
The
snarky.
way she, yeah,
She
and the
can do
way she like
snarky so
managed all
good.
those characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Janelle Brown, though, I still want. Was it Pretty Little Things? Is that what it's called?
pretty things.
Pretty Things. Why do I feel like it? Well, I believe you. Um, you have it right there. You're like, bitch, just believe
I'm
me.
like, as you should. I don't see any little in between there.
I love that one so much. And to bring up
So
last
good.
week's subject, that is one I would have loved to see as a mini series. That one
Hmm.
just felt like there was so much story to it, like so many things happening.
Yeah, I love that one.
I
I love
loved it
that.
so much.
I love her.
Mm-hmm.
I love, love, love her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my last one, and I want to know
Mm-hmm.
if you like can guess it.
Did you say anything about it earlier, or you just seeing if I can guess it in
It
general?
it's one of my comfort watches.
Is it a Scream movie?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
I would love to see. Listen, Kevin Williamson, I love you with all my heart. Like you gave us Scream, and I know what you did last summer, and the Vampire Diaries, and Teaching Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
Tingle, and just like everything in the entire world to be happy about. But like, I would love to see Scream as a book.
Yeah. One person's
There's,
perspectives, or would you bounce around?
I think third person would be honestly fine.
Yeah.
I don't even think it'd have to be first person. I think third person would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something that's always, I don't want to say bothered me about the movie because like it's not a big deal, but there's just something about the first movie that I've always been very curious about.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched it, right?
Yes. I mean, it was a long time ago, but yes.
So, do you know how like the one guy's in prison for killing her mother like a year ago? And then like
Mm-hmm.
in the end of the movie, like she finds out that it was her boyfriend
Yes.
who actually
Yes.
did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like the key witness. So I'm like, I want to know how that played out. Like, was she coming
Oh
home and saw
yeah.
somebody like run out the door and just thought it was him?
Right.
Was she like hiding in a closet somewhere? Like, I just want more
Right.
detail as to like how her mother's murder went down, like how much she
Yeah.
witnessed, what the specifics of that are.
That's a really
Because
good point.
when you see him like caught and weary, like when you see him like being led into like the jail or whatever, you can see the
Mhm.
resemblance between him and her boyfriend. So like it does make sense. But
Yeah.
she's like, I saw Caught and Weary kill my mother.
Mhm.
And then like in the end of the movie, when she finds out her boyfriend's like a fucking psycho, he's like, oh, like a year ago today we killed your mother. So I just want to know how that like
Right.
came
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like how like what she you could go a couple different ways with it, even because it's like, is she aware that she covered the memory? Or was she so traumatized that she changed the memory and like she just can't even tell herself?
Yeah.
Or was she lying kind of because she did want to protect him and kind of knew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could
I'm
go a
just,
lot of different
yeah,
directions.
because I mean, you kind of find out that like her mom has been having an affair with this guy. And
Right.
that's why like she was like, he raped and murdered my mother, but like he didn't rape and murder her mother. They just had consensual sex because she was having an
Right.
affair with him. So like my just overall thing is like how far, like how much did she actually see? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
was she just coming home and saw somebody like run out of the house and assumed it was him? Was she
Right.
hiding somewhere? Like, I just want to know more about that because
Mhm.
it's, I mean, I think it would have to be pretty clear that she didn't witness the entire murder because she would have seen her boyfriend's face at some point.
Right. Yeah.
So that's just
You
something
wouldn't miss
where
that.
like it makes sense. That's why I would like to see it as a book too. Like that's one of those things that I would like to see as a book is I feel like if it was written
Mhm.
as a book, they could explain a little bit more on that, maybe have a
Yeah.
flashback or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
just
I like that. That would be cool.
yeah. And I would have a more modern twist on it because one of the things that always pisses me off is like when Drew Barrymore, you think that she's safe because she like gets attacked and then she turns and her parents are walking in the door and
Mhm.
her like because she was like choked, like her voice isn't working,
Mhm.
but she still has the phone in her hand. Like, why didn't she just
Yeah.
throw the phone at her parents and be like, hello, like, can you please help me?
Right. Plot
So
holes.
those are just some things that I would like to explore in a book.
Yeah.
I just don't know who I would pick to write it because that's a
I wonder if like Grady Hendrix could do it.
I think he'd make it too
Serious.
I think he'd make it too unique. Like it would be
Mm.
Grady Hendrix, you know what he would actually do really well is if he like if he did a book version of like Nightmare on Elm Street, I could see that.
Oh
Because he's
yeah,
always
do
got
it.
like a supernatural kind of element to it or
Mhm.
something like really specific.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Kevin Williamson will have to write a book.
Maybe to convince him.
He would do he's just I just love his ideas. I like literally have loved everything
Yeah.
he's done. But yeah, I would love to see that was like my last one. I would love to see
Yeah.
Scream as as a book.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram so that you can keep up with everything we're reading and talking about. You can follow Gare at Gare Indeed Reads, and you can follow me, Kate, at The Girl with the Book on the Couch.